Now, they are silent. They can travel at up to 70 miles an hour and they are causing havoc in towns and cities across the UK.
We are talking about electric motorbikes. You'll have seen them probably out there being ridden illegally on roads, on pavements and parks. And Dan Johnson's been looking into this for breakfast. And he's here with us in the studio to talk about what is being done to tackle it. Dan, morning. Tell us more.
Yeah, good morning. I'm sure people will have seen these. We're talking about electric motorbikes, this sort of thing, different to regular e-bikes or scooters. They can be used to do tricks like this because they don't need to be pedalled like other e-bikes. They're also not speed restricted. So usually they are being ridden illegally on the road and they have become a huge challenge for the police. They're often going dangerously fast. They're being used in crime. Lots of communities up and down the country have experienced this sort of thing. And often they're riding in big groups with their faces covered. These gangs can be quite intimidating. And some of these battery-powered bikes can reach 60 or 70 miles an hour. So there is a risk to the mostly young people who are on them and to the wider public as well. And there are questions over the safest tactics for the police to be using here. Now, many officers have told us they want better guidance because stopping these bikes is so difficult. They are a problem all over, but the police in Bristol showed us some of their frustration and the dilemmas that they face out and about on the roads day to day, but also the new ways that they've got to follow and to stop these young riders.
If you can withdraw for now, so we've got Stinger contingencies.
We've now got 2 Cyril motorcycles out and about.
It's an electric-powered bike. He's in black clothing.
This is a menace tearing through communities.
It's a huge issue. The best word to describe is relentless.
He's got no helmet on.
They're going about 80 miles per hour in a car park, doing wheelies and doing God knows what, and shouting abuse at people while they're doing it.
Teenagers riding high-speed electric bikes.
You imagine 4 kids on bikes coming towards you with balaclavas, just their eyes.
It's fun. It's fun for me. I likes the thrill of it.
The police are being taunted
Stand by, temporary loss.
and can be left looking powerless.
It's a game. They're getting us to chase our tails, basically.
And lives are being put at risk.
Or someone's going to get killed.
Really?
Yeah, hurt or killed.
I don't want these people to be losing their lives.
I don't think police can win.
One detained, one detained.
Welcome back to Up Broad. Off-road motorcycles are historically linked to Bristol South.
In Bristol, officers are ready to go after the electric bikes. But listen to the word of caution.
You'll all be aware of the incidents that took place over in Cardiff. 2 cases have ended with tragic consequences for everyone involved. There's a suggestion officers have been following these vehicles.
This was Cardiff back in May, an estate up in flames after the death of 2 teenagers. Harvey Evans and Kyrie Sullivan crashed their electric motorbike, a Sur-Ron. They'd been followed shortly before by a police van. The South Wales officers are still under investigation.
We're going to go into Hartcliffe now and show our presence. The purpose of this op is to improve public confidence, as well as stopping the offences in question. There's a lot of Sur-Ron bikes driving antisocially, just antagonising people.
Can we confirm what sort of speed he's doing?
Yes, he's 30.
Electric motorbikes are higher powered than regular e-bikes and capable of much greater speeds.
They are dangerous pieces of kit if you haven't got the relevant training behind you, because they can go off at high speeds like that.
Most aren't road legal. The Sur-Ron is the most popular.
We have to bear in mind that if they're young riders, they might not be experienced on that bike. Therefore, if a police vehicle is to get behind them, then they might come off. And we have to be proportionate and realistic in how we're dealing with it. And if it means letting them go and we can identify them later, then so be it.
But that means communities up and down the country have been left in fear.
Then I'm too scared to take me and babies out because of it. And I can't stick it anymore and I want to leave. They're not even wearing helmets. I'm moaning about them, but I'm also worried about them because I don't want them falling off and killing themselves.
Because if they chase them and anything happens to the kids, they're in the wrong. So I don't think police can win.
This new approach includes their own Sur-Ron. But stopping these teenagers still isn't easy.
There we go, so we've now got one of the electric motorcycles with Sir on.
Watch how quickly the bike takes off.
A green or khaki green motorbike.
That's an electric motorbike. Unrestricted speed. It's not legal on the road unless it's registered, taxed, insured and ridden wearing a helmet.
He's making off.
Very frustrating because they're doing dangerous things. You want to stop that, but you have to take into consideration what could happen.
Which one's this then?
Solera Sting.
They won't stop for the police, but we managed to get one young rider to talk.
They're eco-friendly.
But you're not riding that to be eco-friendly, are you?
No, I'm riding it for like the fun of it. Like.
Some people think they are dangerous.
Yeah, well, they could be dangerous if you ride them dangerous. Like personally, that's like what I think. Like obviously, I don't ride this dangerous. I don't want to harm anybody.
It's not legal on the road, though, is it?
No.
So you shouldn't even be here, really.
Nah.
What's the key to getting away from the police?
Lanes, little alleyways.
There's a sense the law's been left behind by quickly developing technology, and officers want clearer guidance.
Well, that's a no trace. We need to do some serious looks at our policy.
So something's got to change.
Yeah, it does need to change. We need to start prosecuting people. We need the results from the courts. We need something to start showing that we mean business and we're not going to take it anymore.
Withdrawal, and pass it to follow until he runs out of battery, and then we'll strike him.
There is some success on Bristol's streets. After officers were told to drop back, the helicopter kept tracking this rider.
One detained. Blackthorn Close.
He was jailed for 7 months and banned from driving. But there is a new generation of young riders now reaching for the saddle.
Dan, those pictures are terrifying, aren't they?
Yeah, and this is the sort of thing that's tearing through communities up and down the country, and you do get the sense that the police don't really know what the best way to go is. The guidance is not clear, the law is not clear, it's all very complicated, and it's a real challenge. And what you saw there, those officers on the front line, under pressure, are the ones having to make the decisions about what's safe, when to chase, when to drop back, what to do. So I think they are looking for clearer guidance, and we know that the Chief Police Officers Council is reviewing this, is looking at this. The Home Office is also looking at ways to try to intercept these bikes, new sort of technological solutions to try to clamp down on this, to stop communities suffering and to stop these young people being at risk, because we know that people have died, people are getting injured, and the technology is changing all the time, so it is a real challenge.
And you've given us a snapshot there of what's happening in Bristol, but I guess different cities, different communities, different police forces are all trying different ways of managing this.
Yes, and many of them have different policies, different approaches, so there's no consistency across the country. No suggestion that Bristol's got the worst problem with this by any means. They were just a police force that allowed us in to show that frustration, that tension, that conflict and dilemma that the police officers on the front line face. And as that woman said, there's a sense that they can't do right here. Either they're dropping back and seen not to be tackling the problem, or they pursue these kids, then something goes wrong, someone gets hurt and the blame is on the police. So you do have some sympathy for the officers who are caught in the middle here, looking for clearer guidance, looking for a clarification of what they should do, what the safest way to approach this. If there is a technological solution that can limit these bikes, maybe that's the best thing. Important to say they're not always ridden illegally. There are legal uses of these. They can be legal on the road in certain circumstances, but they're getting quicker, they're getting more powerful, and we are seeing more young people predominantly using them either antisocially or in outright crime to get away from the police, because they're so useful. They can just zip away so quick. They are phenomenal, the acceleration on them.
And the difference between these and an electric bike, so an e-scooter, electric bike,
Yeah.
e-bike.
It's really complicated. An e-bike essentially is something that you pedal, but you get some power from the battery. They're usually speed restricted at about 15.5 miles an hour. A scooter, the sort of thing that you stand on, they're also not legal on the road, the scooters, unless they're part of a government trial. These electric bikes, where you don't have to pedal, you just slam the accelerator and away you go. They're not legal on the road unless they're taxed, insured, registered, and you're wearing a helmet. So they're treated by the police essentially like a petrol motorbike, because they are that quick, that powerful, that dangerous. But this is why the law's a bit confusing. Most of the public don't quite know what's legal, what isn't. The police are struggling with that. Or everybody really, I think, would benefit from some clearer guidance here, but it's difficult to know exactly what the right solution should be.